Good morning. Everyone had a great weekend. We're starting seated position today, so let's come put your blanket or whatever you're using down or cushion and just come to a seated position. Just flipping mine up and just cross your legs. We're going to inhale and lengthen through the crown of the head. Bring your hands softly to our knees. Exhale, slip those shoulders, soften away from the ears. Gently close the eyes. Bring the awareness to the breath. Breathe in and expanding the belly. Exhale, pulling that navel in towards the spine. After a few just deep drip breaths with awareness, transition into Ujjayi breaths. Now breathe, expand the belly, the rib cage, the lungs. To the crown of the head. Exhale. Release. Empty. Pull that navel in last and then inhale. Expand from side to side, front to back, then rising up, expanding the lungs, the chest. Breathing into the crown of the head, that Christmas tree shape. Exhale. Emptying everything down to the belly. Pulling that navel in, emptying everything before starting another round with that Ujjayi breath. Just bringing into the moment. And with the exhalation, just releasing, letting everything go. All of our concerns, worries, to-do list, tasks. Just letting that go for a little bit. It'll be there when you come back. Or when this is over, but just choosing to release those things with the exhalation. And just 2 more breaths. Really making those last breaths count. Just challenging the lungs, challenging the belly. And in the very last breath, pulling that navel in and moving back just to deep, even breaths. And the next inhalation, just blinking those eyes open. Inhaling, lengthening through the crown. We're going to exhale, bring that right ear down to the right shoulder, gentle, mindful. I'll always say that. And I'm so protective of the neck. Reach out to the left fingertips, the air around the mat. Softly keep this hand on this right knee. Work out of the ear, just not pulling, not cranking, just kind of resting that on the side of the head. Softening from under this ear all the way to the tip of the shoulder. Letting that belly move forward and backwards on the breath. So lifting to the sternum, nice long spine, and softening. And release. And inhale up those arms. And forward, pull those elbows down, start to stretch the shoulders, the front, the back, reach up. Inhale, exhale. Connect the breath to the movements. Inhale. Exhale, bring those hands to the back of the head. We'll bring that chin in, just resting the hands, lengthening through the back of the neck, still lifting through the sternum. Just feeling that length from the base of the skull, base of the head, down through the top of the shoulders. Breathe. And release, softly bring the hands down to the knees. Inhale. Lengthen, and then exhale, bring that ear down to the other shoulder. Left ear comes to the left shoulder. Reach out with those right fingertips, out or down. And add this left hand. And soften all these muscles on the right side of the neck. And release. Inhale up. And just inhale out the arms again. Pull them down. Inhale up into a V, and I'll pull the elbows down one more time. Inhale up. Clasp those fingers. I'm going to press up to the ceiling. Feel that stretch to the upper arm, or the forearms. And then we'll release and bring this right hand down and reach up and then come right over. Opening through those ribs on the left side of the body. You can bend this arm, come down, reach further. Just keep those hips attached to the mat. Just softening, opening through that left side of the body. Breathe. I'm gonna pull that thumb back open. Keep that gaze up to the ceiling, feeling that stretch to the back of the shoulder, that opening through the chest. And softly bring this hand down. We're gonna slide this right hand back. And lift to the crown, lift to the sternum. And take our gaze towards the back of the room. And it can be a very, very subtle twist. Maybe you're looking all the way back, or maybe just at the side. Just whatever's available to you today. Draw that navel into the spine, lifting to the crown. Imagine that string pulling up, and then exhaling, taking that gaze back. Just a few more breaths. And release, unwind. Inhale up those arms. And just bring those up to a V. One more time, we're gonna pull those elbows down, feel that stretch. Here, and then here, drop that right arm. Lift that right elbow. We're gonna feel that stretch reaching down through that right hand, all the way from the hip up to the elbow. Lifting through the sternum and the crown. Nice breaths into the belly. Release, shake out the arms. Lift up. Drop that left hand. Lift to that left elbow. Lift through the crown of the head. Let that belly button move forward and backwards. And release, we'll lift up. And then bring this left arm down and then lifting up and over. Just finding that spot here where both hips are attached to the mat, or we're opening through that right part of the body. Pulling that thumb back, open up to that gaze, up to the ceiling. And release. Bring this hand down to the left knee, slide this hand back, lifting and taking that gaze back. Breathe, lengthen, feeling those vertebrae just lengthen, creating space in between them. The exhalation, taking that nose further back. Just listen to your body. And release, gently unwind. From here, just going to come forward, bring our hands just right in front of our shins. And you can stay right here. Or you can walk those hands forward. And just feel that opening of the low back. You can even take a block here, just if you're having any issues with your low back. I'm using a block right now just because I'm having just a few issues with my low back, so I'm just trying to be extra careful, as honor my body. So I can still do the movements, but just modified. So we're letting those hips feel heavy. Open those palms. Lengthen through the back of the neck. That nose comes down towards the floor. And then walk those hands over to the right. Reaching to those right fingertips. Nose down towards the floor still. Heavy through both of the hips. And breathe. Connect with your breath. Stay connected to the breath. Move those hands back to center. And we'll come over to the left. Just a few more easy breaths here. And then walk those hands back to center. Maybe spider crawl those a little further forward. Feel that heaviness in the hips and then the opening and softening to the low back. And lift those hands back in. We're gonna bring this right arm across the body and just pull that in. Soften to the front and the back of the shoulder. Breathe. Release. And bring that other arm across. Pull that in. Soften to the back, all the way to the front. Pulling that into the chest. Lifting to the sternum. Breathe into the belly. Soften your gaze. And release, shake out the arms. And then from here, we're going to come into a tabletop position. Put something down for your knees, or just put down a blanket. And then bring those knees under the hip points. Spread out those fingers. We're going to start with some cat and cow. Cat and cow stretches. So inhale and press that belly down or pull those shoulders back. And I'm going to do it in a pretty gentle way, so you won't see, it's not very exaggerated the way I'm doing it, but everyone else knows how to do it. So you all know how to do it. So I'm just going to guide you. Gaze forward. Make those shoulder blades almost kiss. Pull the shoulders back. Press that belly down, and then we're going to round. Exhale. Pull that navel up towards the ceiling. Tuck the tailbone. Tuck the chin. We're rounding everything. And inhale back to cow. Looking forward. Lowering the belly. And exhale back to cat. Rounding. And that chin in towards the chest. Take the tailbone. Pull that navel up towards the ceiling. Then inhale back to cow and just continue with the pace of your own breath. It's going back and forth between the two. And while you're doing that, I forgot to mention in my invite in the beginning of class that you have to leave a few minutes early. So I'm going to put you into Shavasana, or I'm going to start Shavasana, and then kind of let everyone bring themselves out of Shavasana. So that then you can take it kind of the length you want to. If you want to do it longer, and I bring you out of it too soon, then you can do that, or you can really just choose. So I'll put you on start Shavasana like it's 10 till, and then kind of just leave you to bring yourself out of it. And then you have the option of staying longer or shorter. And then I will be going off to physical therapy, hopefully to sort out all my back issues and come back to a neutral position. Bring those new knees together. We're going to lift those feet, and then we're going to look over the left shoulder and over the right. And then kind of back and forth. And this is really, I read an article about all the important moves and stretches for the back, and this is one that I wanted to add just because I know it's so good for just protecting the mobility in your back, and that's really been really important to me lately for the last month. And release. Come back to a tabletop position. Make sure you spread out those fingers. And push that left hip out to the side. And we're just going to kind of come in a semicircle around. Press that right hip out. And semicircle around. We're stretching those wrists. Press out to the left. So check that hip holding tension. And then we're going to circle, circle, whole circle. Now just a 2 times in a clockwise position. Clockwise. And let's go opposite directions. Check in with your hips. These are tight. Drawing that navel in. Make sure those wrists feel good. Spread out the fingers. Come back to a neutral position. And I'm going to press through that right heel. We're softening, keeping this left knee underneath that left hip point. Soften through that calf muscle. And take your awareness to the inner right thigh, and you're going to lift. I can't do it today, so I'm just going to talk you through it. You're going to lift just to bring that leg up, lift to the hamstring, and you're going to level off those hip points. And then you're in half the bird dog, and then you can stay here, add that left arm, both the arm and leg up, and just breathe through that, and take just kind of 3 easy breaths through that full bird dog pose. You're pulling that navel in, so just really challenging your belly, strengthening your back. One more breath, and then just gently come back down. And go ahead and bring those knees to the edges of the mat. Sink those hips down. Reach forward. We're just going to release and soften and relax into the mat just for a few breaths. Let everything go. And slide those hands underneath the shoulders and press up. And gently come up. And just here, really quickly, we're going to slide that right hand underneath that left arm. Let that soften into the mat. Breathe into the belly, let the shoulder melt. You can close the eyes. And just let every muscle in the shoulder just soften and melt into the mat. So any computer work you've been doing, gardening, anything, cooking, anything, cleaning, anything that you've been doing, it's just kind of using those shoulders. Just let that go, let that soften, and just release and sink into the mat. And go ahead and bend that left arm. We're going to press up, come back to a tabletop. This time we're going to press that left heel back. Soften that calf. Take that awareness to the inner left thigh, and then we're just going to lift. I'm going to stay here, but lift. Level off those hips. And then add that left arm, or just stay with those arms strong. See that full bird dog position, reaching through those fingertips and the heel, engaging that core, strengthening everything, draw the navel in. Just a few more easy breaths. And then release back down, bring those knees wide. We're gonna soften back again. Reach forward, let everything go. And then slide those hands under the shoulders, gonna press up. And then we're gonna thread the needle, bring that left shoulder down. Now that left shoulder softens and releases down into the mat. Just everything surrenders, all the muscles in the shoulder. And go ahead. Bend this right arm, we're going to come up. Bring those knees underneath the hips, walk forward. We're just going to come to a quick puppy. Let that forehead sink down. Come up on the fingertips, stretch those shoulders. And release. And then gently come up. Then from here, we're going to just tuck those toes and then straighten to downward facing dog. I'm keeping my knees really bent for this, but you can straighten the legs, start to walk the dog, just alternate those heels on the mat. Protect those wrists, that middle finger's pointing towards the front, top of the mat, maybe taking a micro bend in the elbows. And then press to those heels, either on the mat or onto the mat. Breathe into the belly, strong through the arms and the legs. And then we're going to walk those hands up to the top of the mat. I'm just going to hang in a forward fold here. So pressing through all four corners of the feet, strong through the legs. And then we're going to softly just step this left foot back. So we're in a nice lunge, building strength, heat in the legs, lifting to that hamstring, and softly bringing this back knee down, keeping this right knee over the right ankle. And you walk through if you like. And we're letting those hips fall forward, pulling back through that right hip crease with that right finger, just mind's eye. And just soften through those hips. Let those hips fall forward. We're gonna bring that left hand down. Take a quick inhale, just quick little spinal twist and exhale down. Come back to this neutral position. You can scooch this foot forward for a deeper stretch. Stretching through here, lengthening. And go ahead and straighten that leg. Just adjust to come into a runner stretch. We're lengthening through the crown of the head and then just at the hip. That's okay if there's a little bit of a curve in the spine. Just don't want shoulders completely hunched. Keep that left hip over that left knee, and we're just softening through the back of that right leg to the back of that right knee. Nose comes towards the shin. Breathe. How's your breath? And release, let those hips come forward. And heel to that foot over to the edge. I'm coming for lizard, so our hands are here, maybe on blocks, maybe you're down on elbows. Put that foot out towards the edge of the mat, and we're softening to that hip flexor, that right hip flexor. And you're down here. And breathe. Release. Put back to center. We're going to tuck those back toes, and we're coming into pyramid pose. So just straightening both the legs. These blocks, and just keep those hands down to the mat. We're going to square those hips to the front of the mat. We're pressing through those feet and second those kneecaps. We're really engaging all the muscles in our legs. Forehead comes down towards the shin. Pulling that navel in. See if that forehead comes closer, the nose comes closer to the shin. Strong through the legs, pressing through the feet. And release. Bring this left foot to meet this right foot. And we'll just press that. Bring that right foot back. We're coming to a lunge. Lifting, strengthening through those legs. Bring that back knee softly down. We're pulling back to this right hip crease, or left hip crease, letting that right hip soften. Press your right hand into the mat. Inhale up. And exhale back down. And scooch this foot forward to keep it, the ankle right under the knee. Breathe. And then move back into a runner stretch. Straightening that front leg, keep that right hip over that right knee. Toes, left toes up to the ceiling, nose down towards the shin. Lengthen to the back of the neck. Soften to the back of the left knee. Breathe. How's your breath? Soften through your face, so you're holding tension in your face. Release the cheeks and the jaw. And then release. Come forward. Feel to that foot over the edge. We'll come into lizard. We're going to take that ankle. And then just bring those hands or elbows down, softening through that left hip flexor. Breathe. Find whatever spot's available to you. And release. Feel to that foot back to center. Tuck the back toes. We're going to straighten both legs. Press. Separate the kneecaps. Nose comes down towards the shin, and we're just pressing through both of those legs, sucking up kneecaps. Pull that navel towards that spine. Nose comes towards the shin. Breathe. And release. Softly bring this back knee down. And lift up. Now bring those knees together. Bring those hands to those hips. Pull those elbows back. Press into the tops of the feet. We're just going to open the chest, just gaze up at an angle. If that feels okay. Maybe more up towards the ceiling, only if that feels okay on your lower back. And release. Come down, just bring those hands down and come down on your right hip. And then we're going to come into Baddha Konasana. So you can sit on something if you like. That helps keep your spine straight, so this is more comfortable. And just bringing the soles of your feet together. Wrap your hands around the feet. Lift the sternum. Bring that nose forward. Press those knees away from the body. Nice long spine. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Just bring that nose down to wherever's available to you. Pressing those knees away. You want to feel that stretch through the hip flexors. And give your arches a massage while you're here. And release, gently come up. We're going to straighten this right leg. Bring this left foot in. You can grab our yoga strap for these stretches if you like. Just wrap that around the ball of the foot, or just grab the shin, the ankle, or the foot. Lengthen, take that torso over the lengthened leg. We're just going to bring that nose down to the shin. And press the heel. Breathe. Pull that navel in. See if that nose comes a little closer to the shin. Sometimes this is nice to hold these stretches for just a little longer, so really settle into them, and then see if you can kind of challenge the spot that's available to you, and don't forget to breathe. And release, gently come back up. We'll just switch sides. Bring that right foot in, pressing through that left heel. Grab the shin, ankle, the feet. You can cross those feet, cross those hands, cross the arms, grab the feet on the other side. Press down through that right knee. We're facing that left leg and just coming forward, forward, forward. Hinge at the hips. Breathe. Draw that navel in, bring that nose closer to the shin if possible. Pressing to the heel, pressing to the ball of the foot. Press down through the back of the knee. And release. Straighten both legs, press those hips forward if you like. Bring those hands out in front, and we'll just walk them forward, pressing through the heels, pressing down through the backs of the knees, lifting, lengthening the spine. Just walk those hands to whatever's available to you. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Just gaze forward, soften your gaze, soften your face. Check in with your breath. Press to the heels, press down through the backs of the knees. Just breathe. And release. Gently come up. Into swing those legs around. And we'll come balance on our sit bone. For boat pose, you can grab right here. Bring those legs out in front. Open them through that chest to a nice broad chest. And then from here, stay here. This is a challenge for your core. You can reach forward or straighten your legs. Just find whatever's available to you today. That's fine. It's all work, no matter what. No matter what level you're taking it at, or which pose you're taking, or which variation of the pose. Just breathe. Don't hold your breath. Lengthen through the back of the neck. And release. And from here, I'm going to really slowly going to reach forward and just really engage the core. So every muscle, as you're reaching forward, just giving every belly in your muscle, or muscle in your belly a chance to just engage. It's okay if you feel that shaking. As you roll back, just kind of pausing on every vertebrae and then coming down. And from here, press those arms to the sides. And on the inhalation, we're just going to lift up those hips, make that bridge. Mine's pretty low today, but yours might be all the way here. You might have a nice straight line from your knees up to your chest. One more breath and release those hips down. We're going to pull those knees into the chest and just roll, massage that back. I'm going to take those knees in a circular motion. Opposite direction, that should feel really nice on your back. And then pull those knees up. Let them drop away from each other, softening through those hip flexors. Also should be really good. Just kind of a nice stretch of the hip flexors. Just one more time, using the arms as oars. And then really bring those arms to a T and just let those knees drop to the right side of the body. You stay here, or you can straighten that top leg. And just gaze up to the ceiling or opposite direction. And just soften into the stretch. Just a few more breaths. Pull those knees in and just drop them to the other side. Those arms where they're at. I'm going to stay on the right side, but today, just because that feels really good to me. But on the left side, just take that gaze in the opposite direction. Soften your gaze to the ceiling. And pull those knees back into center. And then drop those feet. And we're going to take that right foot into the air, press into that heel. And then bring that knee, ankle to the knee, press that right knee away. Move the arms out to the sides, cactus, or just on your belly, feeling that Belly button rise and fall. And stay here. You can grab the back of that left hamstring and come to the full figure four. And just stay here. Whatever's available to you today. Just stretch moving through that hip. Breathe into those tight areas. Keep those feet flexed. Just watch the breath. Soften your face, soften your gaze to the ceiling. Let your tongue get loose in your mouth. And release. Bring both feet down. We're going to inhale that left leg up. Press that heel straight or bent. Just lifting that leg up, stretching. Just for a breath or two. And then bring that ankle to that knee. Press that left knee away. And staying here, grab the back of that right hamstring. Come to figure four. Keep the feet flexed and then breathe into that hip. Soften on the exhalation. Belly button rises and falls. One more easy breath. And release. Bring this right foot down, left foot down. And we're gonna lengthen our legs. Just come into whatever position you take for Shavasana. You can put a blanket over you, socks, or sweatshirts. You can take those soles of the feet together and put cushions or blocks or something like underneath your hips to kind of hold those legs. Just lengthen those legs with those feet. Just flop out to the sides. Open those palms up to the ceiling. And once you're there, take a big breath into the belly. And close the eyes. And just sink, close the eyes, sink down on the exhalation into the mat. Another breath. Belly button rises and the lungs fill. On the exhalation, just sink. Down to the mat, down to the pose. And start to follow the breath. Watch as it enters next to your body. Softening. Inhaling relaxation. And just softening on the exhalation. And everything release and widen and soften. Softening through the face, the cheeks, the jaw. Tongue is loose in the mouth. Those shoulders melt into the mat. And down the arms, biceps, triceps, the forearms, the hands. All widen and soften, palms feel heavy. All the muscles in the back soften from the shoulders down to the waist. Let the hips, the hamstrings melt. The quads soften. The calf muscles release and relax, the ankles, the feet, the toes all soften. Every muscle in the body just surrenders into the pose. Just continue to follow the breath. Breathing in relaxation. On the exhalation, just releasing a little bit more into the pose. Just continue to follow the breath. Just continue to relax, soften every muscle. With every exhalation, just softening a little more, releasing a little bit more. And then eventually, when you're ready, taking yourself out of Shavasana, but just breathing, watching the breath, releasing and relaxing until you're ready.